Welcome back everybody to VVR. So I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Today I want to show you how I mixed Cult of Vampires. And if you guys don't know, I have my whole artist page and my music outlet is, you know, another side of me besides art. So the Skeleton Crew official, which is on YouTube and Spotify, is where I release all my music. I want to do a mix down for you guys of how I actually composed Cult of Vampires and how I mix it all together. So this is a little bit different from what I usually do for my channel, but of course the channel's main point is to kind of reflect things that are going on in my life. And just since I just kind of released Vultures, which is my newest single, I wanted to kind of do something different where I show you of how I kind of came to these things, because I'm working on becoming a music producer. Anyway, I'll drop a link on the description below so you guys can hear Cult of Vampires, and if you want to follow the band as well, by all means you can. It'll all be there. But anyway, so I'll give you a little bit of a preview, and I'm pretty sure I won't be copywritten because because the song is mine. You know, I composed it myself, but it is content ID claimed and all that stuff by YouTube. So we'll see what happens here. So I guess I could sue myself. We'll see what happens, but give it a little bit of preview. Alright, so that's already a lot going on there already. So I'll kind of walk you through what I have going on here. So obviously I'm a very poor musician. I don't have a lot of stuff to work with. So the way that I actually started this whole process is that I went through the drums first. I wanted to get the drums going as soon as possible, because when I was writing this, Blake, who was the guy that helped me compose it, I did all the mixing and editing and all that stuff. He was just helping me play it, helping me get the ideas out of my head. And Blake is a wizard on synth, and he was part of the Skeleton Crew band as a synth player. And he came up with this beat. He came out with this synth part, which just sounds like this. Actually, I'll play it for you real quick. The synth lead, very monophonic. And we screwed up so many times trying to do this. You know, it doesn't sound that good. So what I did was that I resampled it by using I have a blue, let me probably pull it out here. Whoop. I have a Radial Pro reamp box where I could just feed this mono sound into my pedals and feed it back into my DAW. For my DAW, I have an EIE, what's it called? Like 4-channel interface Pro. I forget what it's called. I'll put that in the description as well. But anyway, I took the signal, the raw signal that we just recorded straight in here with a 1/4-inch instrument cable into my DAW, recorded this mono sound, and obviously I wanted to change it up. So I went to I resampled it here with a couple other things, and this is what came out. So I believe that's with the chorus, an octaver, and a little bit of distortion. And then here, just little subtle stuff. I used the Ozone Imager by Isotope to widen it out a little bit, so by 8%. I could have done something more like that to kind of give it some more life. I actually like the way that sounds a lot better. And then I always put my masterings on here, or like this chain. Usually it's one or the other, either the compressors first or the glue compressor. These are both just stock plugins, and for the most part, because I am a poor musician, I just use stock plugins. So yes, all of these plugins are stocked from Ableton Live 9, which I just transferred over to Ableton 11, which is now my new DAW that I currently work in. So we are working with 2 different synths, so we haven't gotten to the part where the vocals explode here, because I wanted to show you kind of what happens as the song progresses. The way I make music is that I wanted to always be interesting with something. The beat here, before we get to the more explosive part, the beat here, I took this the 80s an 80s beat, and it just loops, right? This is it. It's all it does throughout the entire song. But what I did, in certain sections, I added this kick and snare to it. And I found a decent kick and snare that actually will match up to this. And you can just see here, my drum rack is pretty much empty. It's very bare. It's, snare B and a vinyl kick. That's it. So as the section kind of moves forward here, I'll play out the rest here. I mixed the vocals in a different project just because when you try to put everything in here with the drums, the instrumentation, all the effects and the processing, and then of course you add on the vocals and their own processing as well, it just takes up so much CPU. So I learned this from, I believe it's Michael Powers. He's got a YouTube what's it called, little presentation talking about like how to get into the mindset of a producer and how to establish a workflow. To me, it's one of the most insightful videos, and he just shows you like, hey, I'm just trying to mix down this drum track or whatever. And just getting, before he even gets to that point, there's just so much information that he throws at you, and you're like, wow, I should really be taking notes or of something. So anyway, you can tell here, so if we go back to the synth layer, I start to fade this out. And now the white synths come in. And obviously, guys, if I had a real drum kit, I would just use the real drum kit, but poor musicians do poor things. Anyway, so that's the white synth, and over here, the bass is I was kind of having fun with just one day. Like, I wanted to be groovy. I wanted to have some groove to it instead of being so static. And this is also reamped as well, or resampled, I should say, instead of reamped. But I think it's an octave or 2 octaves down. Yeah, that's that side, and the sub, the main bass, right in the center, and everything like the subs. That's the sub. Here we go. Here's the reamped. You can just tell it just adds a little bit more life to it. And then yeah, the sub, it's just the octaver. I have the pitchfork that I put into this, and I just put it 2 steps down, so it's not 1 octave, it's 2 octaves down. And then over here, I'll show you kind of the main chain for the bass. We got a compressor, GSAT. This is by TB Audio. It's a free plugin. I'm still getting the hang of using this thing. It's a little different from what I'm used to. From my understanding, I think it's a glue compressor or a compressor of some sorts, but there's some sounds that I like in there. For the most part, I think I found one. Here is the modern bass, so it just kind of hones it in just a little bit. We have more. I think this is, what is this? Oh, here we go. I believe this is compression. Yeah. And I put an Ogburn sound in here. This is also a free plugin. And then if I turn this off, super subtle effect. I don't even think it's doing anything at all. We have a saturator. Just gives it some more oomph. And it also takes away so much of this of this gain reduction here. So if you see that, like, there's all this gain reduction, it's pushing it to the max, and then you add this, and then it kind of levels everything back out so that you can get a cleaner sound and you can push your gains up a little bit more. Utility here, everything just straight through, stereo, because this is in stereo. And even so, it's just, there's no stereo information in there. Just kind of keep it straight, or there's, yeah, whatever. We have the limiter here, just -3. Just once I find, a trick that I do is once I find like a good place that the bass sits in, I'll lock it in using a limiter, so that it doesn't go past a certain point, and then I control the threshold of how loud I want it with this. So if I want it louder, you know, I just use I move the ceiling up. So sends, I don't really think I have anything for the sends. If we actually pull these out, what do we have? Ballad reverb, hall reverb, and this reverb. So super subtle stuff, but very subtle. I use that. Those are my main 3 reverbs, and that's kind of all I have for my return channels. I know I should be using a lot more, but that's what I got for that. So moving on, we have let's call it my Talnu right here. I couldn't understand what broken hearts do. And here it comes out. So the Talnu here is obviously a terrible knockoff of the Juno 106 or the Juno 60. Here's just like a super bare bones interface of it. It's a free plugin, and I have just the self oscillator preset here, and I really like the way it sounds. So I kind of kept it. I wanted to complement the synths that were analog. So creepy, the sounds of this. I like it. So now we'll get to this ending part, but before I do that, so this is a digital VST, obviously. So for the synth, the ones we were using here in the studio, we were using a what was it called? 2 analog synths. One was just a Yamaha, just like your $200 or $300 Yamaha keyboard. That's like a 66. Keyboard that has just a bunch of presets. Just, you know, it's, if you see it at Guitar Center, you know what I'm talking about. It's just this gray Yamaha keyboard. The other one was the God, I forgot, the SH101. That was the main keyboard that we use for everything else. For the synths, the white synths are the Yamaha, and the main synth, the single notes. Since the SH101 can only play single notes, it can do arpeggiators, it can do a bunch of other stuff, but that's what we use for that. My Blake also has a Juno 106, but unfortunately at the time it was being worked on heavily. I mean, we were 6 months out of commission from that synth, and I've been trying to get that back in the studio just because I love the sound of it. For the most part, I found other plugins that just worked better. Well, not better, obviously. 3-1. For the most part, I found other plugins that have helped recreate that sound of a Juno 106, but not to get too far off on tangent. And now we get to my favorite part of the song, where we actually get to use the portamento of the SH101. So that's what this sounds like. So if we actually go to that, I believe it's here. Yeah, right here. It's just so cool. Yeah. We're able to control the velocity, sorry, the sensitivity of when the portamento is supposed to go up to the peak. And just hold that note, go back down. And this has been remodified with my pedals, obviously. The synth lead by itself, just to remind you, just sounds like this. You know, very, very, very flat. So yeah, so that's that. There's that pedal. Now, moving on to the rest of the song, there's not really much else. I want to show you what I did with the vocals here, because the vocals has their own thing. So just give me 1 second as I find that. All right, so we're back, and this is what I did to record the vocals. So obviously I already had the track, which is this. It's Cult of Vampires, but just the instrumental, with the drums as well. And over here we have a group, and this is where I kind of start doing a lot of routing and things here. So if we actually look at this, it's just a bunch of compressors to help feed the sound into here. So I'll show you how I did this. Obviously here's the vocals. No one will understand. Get the main vocal here, and if I hit A, you'll see all the automation. Everything. We'll get to the interesting part here. So what I did here was at this sound, and you'll see here, like the stereo flex will open up. And I made it automated so that it only opens at this part. So to break this down, I have the main Vox, which is here in the middle. Nothing is happening here. I don't want anything to happen on this one. I want it to be as clear as possible. So whatever my vocals are saying, it'll be there. I believe I have a Berlin sound, which is let's see, where is it? Show an automation. Oops, right click. Show a new automation line, which is right here. Oh, it turned it on by somehow. So it's here. If we go here, that's what that sounds like. So instead of using it on the whole vocal, I just use it in specific parts. And what this is here, it's actually, if we actually turn this off, I routed this down here. These are all just effect noises that I have, and I can pick and choose what I liked, right? So I routed once I have the signal here that I liked, I just go down here and let's just say, what is this? Well, since it's pulling in from the main vocal, it doesn't really matter. But let's just say, for example, that this is this sound, like this right here. I'll grab it from the double or L. So we go down here, and obviously because it is panned, it'll pan left. So if you want to just pan it or keep it straight, you know, just make sure that, like, you know, it's everything centered so that you don't get a stereo signal with either left or right. You just get it just, you know, both equally the same, if that makes sense. So anyway, external in. We're going to grab it from the double L and in, and we're just going to hit record right here. Hit record real quick. Oh, and we got to make sure it's not muted so we can actually get the signal in. And then that's what I'm talking about. And I think I did have it. Here we go. Yep, 32L. So yeah, it did pull out as well a little bit of that of our 50/50, since it's panned a little bit to the left. So make sure that you have this in. Record your effects down here, and if you like them, you can just swap them out. Well, and that's a little bit different from what I have over there. That's pretty cool. Anyway, that's kind of how I did that. So make sure your extension is coming in, pulling it from wherever. If you want it centered, you can do that, and then make sure it's in. And there you go. And then, so what I did here is I just replaced this vocal line with this. So now we get, and moving forward, there's just so much that's going on here already. So we have reverbs that are being fed into this. So what I did was actually, I sent the reverbs out to my return channel. So I believe this is, yep, the Valid. And you can just see here as well that they're all routed. So this is the Valhalla, Valhalla C, valid A. So I can control, now that the reverb is physically here, I can see the waveforms of the reverb. So for example, I would obviously turn up the reverb from here. So now it's going into the ballad reverb, and in a track, a bus track or whatever, I have it here as this one. I'm just gonna push in, and now I can record the reverb. So make sure you're in, record enabled, hit record. Oh, and obviously my biggest flaw, don't be soloed. So now you have a little bit more control on the reverb. That being said, so you can just go to this reverb, pull it all the way down, and now you have the reverb down here in a track. And now you can manipulate this raw audio file, or the reverb, however you like. You can pan it left or right. You can keep it dead center. You could even add some modulars to it, put a compressor on it, and you can even do that in the return channel as well. But I like to have as much flexibility in controlling the reverbs. I think, to me, that's just the optimal way of controlling audio. If you want to use it more flexible in your track or whatever, doesn't matter. Anyway, moving on to the second effect. I believe. There we go. Stereo flex. We'll have they'll illuminate. So with Broken Hearts Demand, what is that? Is that you? Yep, these are also supposed to be active too. So these down here are also samples and bits from like the vocoder that I have up here. So here, yeah, and I don't know if that's from this or not. Whoa, that's cool. So, and then how I routed this vocoder too, guys. The best way that I found is, let me see if I can find a spot that has the vocoder in there. It's always in my head. I know there's a place that I have the vocoder somewhere in here. Is it here? Oh wait, what am I doing? Show automation. Here we go. So the way I routed this vocoder is that I actually grabbed the synth sound that I have here. It's just the raw synth. I just exported the synth by itself. In any case, this was Cult of Vampires. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll leave the link down in the description so you guys can hear is that every time let me know what you trigger. I also added this. I dropped a version of just the synth and the vocals, and I can manipulate the vocals pretty much almost by themselves in its entirety, because I feel like in the mix, in the full original song, they get lost because of all the stuff that's going on there. But when it's just the synth and the vocals, I feel like it's just a different vibe and a different style. I believe, to me, it's worth having as a separate track song. In any case, thank you guys for watching. Berlin in there as well. This one here's my favorite part of the song. It's a very I love this part so much. Kind of sound, and I love it. Back. So. Once it shows the sound that I like from here, obviously because I recorded down here, I pulled them up and I just replaced them. And the reason why I do that on the sides here is so that they're more present, so that I can actually have more of that effect, more audible, if that makes sense. Here's some tremolo. All right. I spent hours, and I mean hours, day and night, trying to get the sound for the sounds right for this. And the most important part, guys, is literally just finding sounds and audios that you're okay with, that you're satisfied with. And at the end of the day, I think I created something that I'm very, very happy with. Like I said, this is written, mixed, mastered by me. It's and composed by me as well. Blake just helped me play a lot of the chords. He's credited on here as well to be as someone who helped me play the instrumentation here, which a lot of these chords I would have never thought of. So without his help, this song would not have been possible, and without those synthesizers, this would have never happened. So with that being said, guys, I hope you liked this little mixdown that I did. Cult of Vampires has taught me a lot, and every single song that I do teaches me so much more about how to achieve a certain goal, like what I should be doing differently with, like, mixing, bussing, and all that stuff, and how to achieve the sounds and results that I'm looking for. And I mean, it's just another part of my life that that hopefully I don't know, just inspires you to like create music and just do your own thing. But yeah, with this channel, it is my multimedia channel. VVR is mainly meant to show you a lot of aspects of my life, whether it's drawing, painting, reviewing movies, and obviously deep talks. It all revolves around this channel. So if you find something useful or helpful here, guys, make sure to give a like, comment down what you liked about this video, if you liked anything at all, and yeah, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000. I'm just trying to get things moving here as fast as possible. So thank you guys so much for checking this out, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.